Printing C++ like it's Python, because I like Python and I also like to, as it says, over-engineer stuff. I like the syntax in particular. You just throw something in. It's concise. It's very easy to adjust to different needs if you want a different separator, a different terminator, a different stream. Pretty nice. Typically does the right thing if you just throw something at it. C++ options, respectively C options, are kind of, I'm not even going to talk about the format specifiers or stream manipulators here. I think we've had enough talk. We had a talk about that, right? So there's an easy C++ template hack to unroll this, using essentially like the recursion and the base case that you see here. Don't stare at it for too long, because it's ugly, but it gives you essentially the same thing. And that covers the basic need. And I've used that like 3 or 4 times for small programs, not in production code or anything, more like toying around with stuff, wanting a nice print. It's not very nice when it falls apart. That sucks really, really, really hard. And I probably should have stopped here, but I've used it so many times that at some point I figured, let's do more. So I added a visitor with an abstract base class that you could inject to determine the terminator, the separator, and an initial string to output, and you can do something like a print line with that. However, yeah, I also added a couple of other functions, and then of course I needed test cases. And then at some point I didn't have it around, and something fell apart, and I wanted to do it really, really quickly. So what I did instead is I wrote this Vim macro in 10 seconds that essentially does the same, taking this line here, the key, the line 6, I think you can't see it really well here. Pressing this, it outputs exactly the same line. And this is also a meta program, because it's like a program that writes a program. It's very simple. It's much shorter, and it's trivial to spot errors because I just press the button, and if it looks wrong on the screen, it's going to fall apart with a very visible error, right? No maintenance, but it's ugly to read. So this brings me back to the Zen of Python, which is one of the few things why I like Python. It's not very safe, but I like the simple is better than complex, and I like the complex is better than complicated. And quite frankly, I think template metaprogramming has become too complicated. It's kind of a hack. It's very nice. I mean, it's like, what it can do is very impressive, but it's a Turing machine, so effectively, it's a computer that's somehow in the compiler, and the language that we use is template metaprogramming, which is kind of like more equivalent to brainfuck than any other language. So I would like to be that, for that to be more Pythonic in the future. And that's it.